Okay, hi Frederik, and thanks for joining me today. I wondered if you could tell us a bit about your firm. I believe that you started, is it Sandgrav or Sandgrave? How do you pronounce it?
Sandgrave. I don't know. It's a Danish last name, so I mean I don't really think that it's meant for international pronunciation.
No.
So it's Sand and Grave. So yeah, it's
Right.
Sand.
Yeah,
Would
okay.
that
Well, Sandgrave,
would be fine?
what was your motivation for starting the firm?
Earning tons of money and having a lots of freedom.
Right, that's a great reason for starting. And is it working
Exactly.
out like that?
Well, not at the beginning. I was aiming at being a freelance CFO, and I
Right,
was sitting with my calculator and just so many hours and this rate, and it was really really nice.
yeah.
And but I used a telemarketing company to see if I can get some meetings with potential clients, but it never worked. I mean,
Right.
they didn't buy it.
No.
So what I found out is that everybody needs bookkeeping. So that's like a
A way in.
yeah, it's like going through the back door actually to
Mm.
getting to do all the fun stuff. So, I mean, basically everybody needed bookkeeping. So in a matter of in the course of 6 months, a year, I had my first employee, and then half a year after, I had another employee, and then it stood quite still for 4 years actually. And
Right.
I was wondering because my mindset about automation and being lazy, I've been going at it for 20 years now. So there's nothing new under the sun in relation to that. But well, nobody knew who I was because I was just doing my work for my clients, and that was it. So a couple of years ago, I went on LinkedIn, and well, that kind of exploded. In
Oh,
a
interesting.
Exactly. So I went on LinkedIn, just I mean, being myself, telling all these great stories about how tech and just working smarter can help a lot of companies, and that really worked well.
That's
So in
fantastic.
2017, I had eight, no, four employees, and in the end of 18, I had 12 employees, and by now we're 20.
That's brilliant. That's amazing. That's quite an explosive growth then in the
Exactly.
last couple of years. That's very encouraging to hear. Can I ask you about when you started your business, were you already sort of digital, or how has your technological journey transpired? Have you moved from on-premise up into the cloud, or what does it look like for you?
No, same. It's the same. I mean, some of our online ERP systems have been working for the past 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
So I have in as far as I can remember, been cloud-based and not on-premise.
Mm.
Of course, there are some legacy ERP systems which are running like in-house, but most of them are running online.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, from that part, it's the same. But I can see that there's a lot of technology which is moving fast right now.
Mm.
So if I see the last 2 years have been really really exciting
Yes.
because I mean both banks and payment initiators have been forced to open up, and we have got this payment system directive in Europe, which hasn't I mean kicked in yet, but that will provide for companies to move money and transactions between each other in a more flexible way. So this is really going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting few years, I think. So on that note, do you think that the firms that are not yet embracing, the sort of full technological advantages are in danger of falling behind? I mean, or do you think that's all a bit of hype? Because obviously we all hear it, okay, you've got to start making changes or you're going to become obsolete, all of that. What do you think, hype or reality?
No, they're dead meat.
Right.
They're dead meat real fast. I mean,
Okay.
I'm sucking in all the clients which are having outdated bookkeeping services. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
that's one. So tech first companies. I mean, companies who know. I mean, young companies who know that tech is important. They come to me, and also the companies which are having an outdated service provider in relation to accounting. They also look my way. So because the
Interesting.
thing is, with tech, you're going to be 10, 20 times faster than normal bookkeeping processes.
Exactly.
So I mean, then you can say, okay, I can move 10 times as many clients with my current resource base. So and it's not like if a client comes to me and they normally pay, I don't know, $2,000 for the services, and I can move it down to 200. They're not. I can't upsell for the remainder. They're not going to buy like forecasts and budgeting and KPI stuff. Not for that efficiency amount. So either I need more clients in order to run my business, and unless they're going to be 10 times, we're just using the factor 10 right here. So unless there's going to be 10 times more clients, they're going to be 10 times more accounting companies which are going to close.
Right, I see. Yeah. No, it's interesting because I think that there are still a lot of accounting companies that are playing that whole wait and see approach. You know, they know something's happening, but, you know, it's still, early days, they think, and therefore they're sort of waiting. And I mean, in my opinion, there is no time to wait. You know, it's really something that's got to be hopped onto. There's got to be a great strategy in place and, you know, some actions that are being taken, albeit you can't necessarily change everything out at once, but at least to be moving very quickly in that direction. So, but I have noticed that, because I obviously talk to a lot of people about this subject, that there is this mindset, still a traditional mindset that is prevalent, you know, in our profession. And I think it's interesting to see actually how quickly things are changing and how quickly you can be left behind if you're not already in motion.
I think, I mean, that's part of the equation, but the other part is that if they embrace the tech, they're gonna need to fire like 80-90% of their staff.
Right.
So they're just like trying to not get to that point as fast as possible. So I think that a lot of accounting companies, they don't know what they have to do with all their surplus of employees if they embrace tech and end up being so efficient.
Right.
So I think a lot of them knows what they have to do, but if they do it, they need to fire a lot of people.
Okay.
So, and as long as the clients allow them to invoice all these hours, they're in a nice position, at least for a while.
For a while,
so,
yeah.
So for me, I'm really confused about who's moving this train, or who's pulling. Is it the accountants? Is it the business owners, or is it the people which are running the finances within a company?
That it's a combination, and therefore there is no way of stopping the train because there is nobody that's in control of it. So I think there's a number of different factors that are making this happen. And that is obviously that the cost of, you know, technology has come down so much, and that client expectations have gone up, and a whole combination of things that are coming together to mean that the train is running and nobody can slow it down. But I mean, the way we work, I hear what you were saying about, you know, the danger being that the accounting practices potentially need to lay off a lot of staff. So the angle that, you know, that we come from in Mantle is really, because we're into the whole, you know, management accounting and performance management, is really trying to work with accountants to help them upskill and change their approach a bit, to try and fill up at least some of that gap you mentioned between the compliance work and, you know, the budgeting, forecasting, the analytics. Mm-hmm. So we're helping them to look for, you know, using the 80-20 principle, who are the 20% of clients that really do have great potential to grow but are kind of sitting dormant now, so that we can get the accountants that are ready to upskill and change, and to sort of really help them move in that direction with, you know, the technology that will help them get the right answers, or not the right answers, but be able to ask the right questions to the clients in order to help those clients grow. So it's who knows exactly how an accounting practice is going to end up looking, but we're really focusing on trying to take those that are ready to change and help them. And it has to be with technology, because if you're an accountant, I think, thrown into the position where suddenly you've got to become advisory or strategic, having used to been just working with compliance, it's a massive change. It's a whole different job. And you need obviously to have the right technical sort of support and systems to allow you to do that. So we always try and focus on where is the positive in all of this. And, you know, that I think is a massive potential. But do you think that the accounting bodies, you know, the professional organizations are making the younger accountants ready for all of this? Do you think that they've changed the way that they're teaching students now in this new, let's say, the era of the fourth industrial revolution, if we want to call it that?
I'm not much into education for accounting.
No.
I call it the mileage in the legs. I mean, it depends on how much you've been running in the bookkeeping sphere. So for me, when I employ people, it's more of their work experience and not at all about their education. Because I mean, I know in Norway there's like a specific certification for bookkeepers. We don't have that in Denmark.
Oh, okay.
So for me, when I hire bookkeepers, it's just their work experience. There's no education for this. So it's the work experience, and of course, younger accountants will want to do it smarter and more tech oriented. So they will automatically be born into a world where this is a natural way of working.
Exactly. Yeah.
That being said, it's not really accountants that will be what we need in the future. It's going to be like block builders with Lego and controllers or people with financial understanding, because there's a huge difference between moving paper and controlling and looking at how the numbers add up.
I agree.
That's two completely different skill sets, and I'm afraid that these two skill sets are so far apart that it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to move a bookkeeper which has been working for 20 years in a specific way, to move this person into being a tech consultant with understanding business processes and doing controlling. That's almost impossible.
Well, yeah, I agree. It's a big move. It's a different job, isn't it? And
Exactly.
so I think I put out a post the other day that sort of said where I think we've got an opportunity is we've got a mixture of the young people coming in that are very tech savvy. Of course, you know, they're born with technology. They want to move into jobs that, you know, allow them to use technology because they can't imagine it any other way. And then you've got the older, more experienced accountants who have a wealth of knowledge and, you know, proper business knowledge, who hopefully can become in some sort of way mentors for the younger. So a combination of these two types of people together hopefully will help firms, you know, thrive in this new sort of, you know, age of change, if you like. But I agree. I think that the shift is going to be massive for some people, and not everyone's going to make it, clearly.
But yeah, that's true. But I also have to say that being a skilled accountant will never be uninteresting, because regardless of tech, etc., you need to know your debit credit. You need to understand how a bookkeeping works. It's not just like apps and fun. You need to understand, and this understanding comes from working a lot with finance and bookkeeping.
Exactly.
So my bookkeepers have at least 10 years of experience.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think it's fundamental, isn't it, to understand the whole structure of debits and credits, assets and liabilities, what it all means, what a financial statement really can tell you, and how it's put together. And because we work a lot in tech as well, most of our technical development staff have accounting backgrounds as well, because when you put together solutions, you have to be able to understand, does this data actually kind of like work? Does it make sense? And you really only understand that if you've got some sort of business background. So that's the trick for us, is finding technical people that can do programming but also have business and accounting understanding. Those kind of people are really rare. So we really,
I know. I mean, I agree. The best ERP consultants I've been working with had an auditing background.
Right. Yeah. So really strong on that sort of structural side of things.
Exactly.
But what do you think are some of the softer skills that is important now for accountants? When I say soft, maybe that's not the right word, but I mean like the non-technical skills. What do you think are the most important in your opinion when you're looking for new employees?
Well, it's people skills, because at the end of the day, we work with people. So I need employees which are comfortable with talking to clients and get a good rapport with them, and which to be trusted, because it's a huge trust that we have to work with when we have a cooperation with clients, because we know everything about them.
Exactly.
So,
And that
so I
trust,
mean,
it comes in time, doesn't it? It doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah. So when you take on new clients, obviously you said you're kind of sucking them up from all the accountants and bookkeepers that are lagging behind a bit, but do you move them onto your systems, or are they allowed to bring their legacy systems with them? Are you a bit strict about saying, we only use our in-house systems? Or
No, because I don't have any in-house systems. I just have some favorites which I'm using, and I don't have my own system. Not
no,
for anything. I'm doing the best of breed trick. So
right,
I'm using whatever is out there, and if something new comes up, I'm gonna change it immediately. So I'm killing my darlings all the time.
right,
But of
okay,
course,
that's great.
I have some favorites, and it's of course, if they come with an old, outdated online premises ERP system, I'm gonna talk to them and show them that if you move on to this ecosystem, I'm gonna be like 80% faster.
Yeah,
And you're gonna and what I primarily talk about is not my time saving; it's the client time saving.
yeah,
This entire conversation has nothing to do with us. I don't care about us. I don't care about our life, our future. I care about the clients. I want to provide the best and possible value for the clients. And if this means rendering myself completely obsolete, unemployed, I'm going there.
right. Well, that's a great attitude, because I think with that focus and that sort of like complete and utter intense desire to make the client journey fantastic, it's got to be a win-win, really, because the client will just want more of what you have, and hopefully you'll become obsolete in the ways that should be obsolete. And as you have kind of mentioned earlier, that whole trust building side of working with the client, which the clients want, they obviously want people to relate to,
Yeah,
something that will never be hopefully automated away. Maybe
exactly.
not in our lifetime anyway. I hope. But that's a really great attitude and a way of doing it. And when you're selling to your clients, do you sell them still on an hourly rate basis, or do you have packages? Like, how do you package up your services?
It's both, depending on what the client wants.
Yeah.
Of course, it's nice for me just to have hourly billing, because then I have no risk. On the other hand, if I make a package, I would then have the upside of being really efficient, but only until a certain point, because then other people will come by and provide this package for a lower price, or for the right
Right.
price.
Yeah.
So I can skim the market with packages and really have a good turnover or income and result, but only until a certain point, because then my competitors will do the same.
Yeah, they
So
can then just see your menu, can't they, of services? And
exactly.
yeah.
So they, I mean, then the market price will appear at some point.
Mm.
But for a lot of companies, it's they want this package deal. But it also depends on the client size and how can I expect what I'm doing. If it's really easy and they can be in these boxes, I say, okay, you have to do payment like this, and our dunning processes like this, and salaries we do like this, and all your receipts you have to do like this. If you run in this, then I can give you a fixed price. And I mean, some clients want this, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm aiming at all the difficult clients.
Right.
I mean, I'm aiming at the industry, the people with production,
Right.
inventory management, web shops selling in different countries, all so ongoing
Right.
hourly works, all that kind of stuff, because that's where you need your head right.
Yeah,
So
okay. So for those types of clients, it's impossible to put them into a package, right?
exactly.
Yeah, so you have an agreement with them that you work by the hour. They obviously do they place orders up front, or they have the kind of relationship with you that they understand that you're just going to get on and do what needs to be done.
Well, we spec it, and then we just do what needs to be done. I have a couple of clients where we charge let's say $6,000-7,000 a month for as a fixed price, and then I have others which is twice that amount, or maybe 3 times that amount, which is on hourly rate.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Because I mean, the packaging mostly is for smaller companies.
Yeah.
And that is what you're going to attract. And if you run your bookkeeping really efficient, and that's what scares me the most. I mean, I can make a bookkeeping run so automatically that I only need to work maybe 15 minutes a month on a large company. So I can give my my employees 300 small clients per month, or 4 big clients. What do you want to work with?
If I was a bookkeeper, or that's an interesting question, because I quite like the difficult clients as well. I like the challenge and to use my creativity. So I personally would prefer to have the 4 more difficult clients where I could get my teeth stuck into. But I think it's also nice to have a balance.
They all do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's great to have a balance, though, to say, okay, there are some clients that, sort of run themselves. And so, that you're able to provide a good recurring service. You've got a fee that's, repeating, and that those clients are satisfied. And at the same time, then you have a small core that you need to pay more attention to because they're high growth, or they're complex, or, some sort of project or something like that. So I suppose that's the optimal mix. But I think it's, I'm not sure if it's important to have a strategy for one or the other. I don't know. What do you think?
Definitely.
To have one
because,
or the other.
I mean, at least I have a strategy of what my what do you call it, strike zone, what kind
like
of
your beachhead market kind of thing.
Yeah, what kind of clients do I want most of? So I mean, that's what I'm trying to attract, because that's what I'm most comfortable with, and that's where I can create the most value.
Yeah.
Because if I do like a subscription model for really, really small companies, and I have like 2,000-3,000 of them, I mean, my employees, they will never be close to these kind of companies.
No,
because
it's impossible.
Just like a bookkeeping engine, that's it, and that's
it's just a commodity.
Of course, they also need. This is a service which is needed, but I don't think it's interesting to provide it.
No,
not if it's. I mean, you need a mix. If you only got all these small clients, it's really difficult.
Yeah, I agree. It's very difficult. So I think that's where we try and really encourage accountants to go out and say, okay, in this big bunch of small clients that you have, because this is a typical sort of like, a thing that accountants say, all my clients are small, they don't have any special needs, and I'm like, that you're making a decision for your clients that actually they potentially don't want to have made for them. In that bunch of clients, there's quite possibly, as we said, 80-20, like 20% of those firms that do have growth ambitions, but do you really know that? How much time have you spent with them to find that out? So hopefully, sort of sanity prevails and those clients come up, to receive the higher value services, whilst you can still serve the small ones in the background until they become the ones that want to grow. So I always like to think of businesses as, they are people, and all people have some sort of ambition for themselves, whether it be to survive, whether it be to grow, whether it just be able to provide for the family, whether it be to, to secure a job for the future or to secure the business for the future. There's always something. And I think the accountants are very well placed to find out what that is and to help them work towards that goal, however big or small that goal might be. But with regards to, you and your business, is there things that keep you up at night? Are you pretty kind of like cool about the way things are? Or are there things that you feel, every now and again, a bit of a nightmare scenario? Or are you just excited?
Well, my biggest issue is my growth. Because I need to formalize all my processes. I need to make sure that the engine is running.
Right.
So and I'm really stressing the engine because I got so many clients coming in, I got so many employees coming in, so I have to figure out how am I doing this. So I'm trying to make a structure which is sustainable. And
Right.
this structure is a team leader with 4 or 5 people below, and then I'm just making like small cells like this.
That sounds sensible.
So this is the way I'm.
Yeah, you're not getting much sleep then, I'm imagining, as you're creating all of these,
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. I really love my work. It's an amazing journey. I'm the entrepreneurial type, so I get a kick out of getting a new job. So when I was finance manager, the first half year was amazing, and then it got boring. So in this way, I get all the fun.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I get new clients all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. I'm
luxury problem.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of final questions because it's been really interesting. But I'd like to ask you: do you feel that there's been a decision that you've made in your business at some point that's been a game changer? Either in the business you're running now or earlier in your career, something that you've done that kind of changed the scene forever more?
Yeah, I went on LinkedIn.
Ah, yeah, you said earlier. Well, that's so fascinating because, as you probably see, I'm a big fan of it.
That made everything explode. Now I'm running around as keynote speaker for different scenarios around in Denmark, and so now I'm an what you call an expert within accounting and digitizing financial. And fortunately, this is not something that I put on myself. This is what other people call me, and I said, sure, if you want to call me that, be my guest.
Well, I saw you made it to Anders' top 25 finance masters list last week, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, but I only made it because I've been lying in my couch and then with LinkedIn and pressing the blue button.
Right.
So I pushed the blue button on everybody that I thought I could sell my services to.
Yeah.
Every SMB owner or CFO in main region of Copenhagen, I just connected to.
Well, obviously they liked what you had to offer because they obviously agreed to connect with you. So it's a strategy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad to be on the list. That's nice, and it's at least it's going to encourage me to just keep on growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we all need role models, and in the industry, there's obviously a lot of people doing a lot of different things. But I really love, when lists like that come out because I think, great, okay, look, these are the people that are doing something that I should look at and find out about. And so for me, it was a bit of, an eye-opener because there was a lot of people on the list that I've never heard of before. So I think it was very interesting. So what are your long-term goals for your business?
I don't have any.
No, you're just rolling with it.
I'm just what do you say, shooting from the hip?
Yeah. Just seeing. Yeah, I think that's maybe the way because it's all so new, isn't it? That nobody really knows where all of this is going. So it's very difficult to have very long-term fixed plans, isn't it? So.
No, I don't. I mean, a lot of companies and CFO have a lot of plans, but I mean, right now I really enjoy my company. I enjoy the growth. I enjoy all the new clients, all the tech I can use, and all my great employees. And I'm just gonna keep doing this until I don't think it's fun anymore. And right now I'm just in a really fun position with all this growth.
Yeah.
So I open up a new office in Copenhagen now. So we're on 2 premises, and
congratulations.
I also own software companies within accounting tech now. So I'm moving in all sorts of directions.
Fantastic. Yeah, life's fun.
Yeah, life's fun. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where it takes you. And obviously you're on LinkedIn, so we can all follow you and see what you're up to. And okay, final question then. If there's one piece of advice that you could give your younger self, what would that be?
Myself?
Your younger self, yeah. So yourself now, if you were looking back to young Frederik, what would you tell him?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't work so much, I think. I worked too much in my young. I really pushed myself too much.
Right.
So and if you do it, it has to be fun, and I really think that in some periods it wasn't really that much fun.
That's great advice. Really great advice. Okay, well, thanks a lot, Frederik, for your time. It's been really
You're
an
welcome.
eye-opener, and I look forward to sharing this on LinkedIn. I think there's a lot to learn from what you've said. So thank you very much.
Can I just say one last thing?
Yes.
I mean, there were two game changers for me. One thing is going on LinkedIn, but the primary thing which I learned, and which all accountants needs to learn, is client first. Focus on the value, what they want, and make it, I mean, get the language from up here to down here. It's like when you buy a television, you don't need to know all the tech behind it. You just need to know that it works. So now when I'm talking solutions, I'm telling people, look, you can run your dunning procedures or your payments from your sofa with a swipe on your phone, and that's enough. So just get it into a proper level so people can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that advice. And I've heard before, I'm sure we all have, that, you know, we need to be able to kind of like talk as if our grandmothers, you know, could understand. And that's a good way of sort of like pitching, not to be condescending to the client or anything, but when you're talking to clients, it's all so new to them. And as you say, they don't need to know everything behind the scenes, but they're also processing what you're saying. So I think that to bring it all the way down to that kind of level where it's just the minimum amount of information necessary to get the client up and running is a really good way of thinking, and totally agree with you that it's all about the value that you can bring to the client. You know, no matter how many times you press the blue button on LinkedIn, no matter how many articles or whatever else that we put out on social media, at the end of the day, if the clients aren't happy, they're silently going to leave and go somewhere else. So it's all about the client. I totally agree with you. And that's a great closing message. So I thank you very much for your time and all that insight, and have a great day, Frederik.
Thank you.
Thank
You too.
you.
Bye-bye, Laura.
Bye-bye.